Hello.
Hi again.
Back to the Aussies.
We're back to the Aussies every start.
Welcome to our suite.
Welcome to our sweet life. It's been a sweet life.
It's been a sweet one.
It's been a hectic life.
I'm Ashlee.
I'm Helena. If you didn't know.
If it's your first time listening, welcome.
Welcome.
And if you're a regular, welcome back. We've missed you.
Okay, so we like to do the little 30s to 20s because I feel like we're just, in the peak ripe old age of our 30s.
Okay, we're still early 30s.
Yeah,
we're not mid-30s. Let's not allude to older age here.
But I mean, like, we're ripe, but we're getting a feel for the 30s.
We are.
And we're like, okay, like, what's the differences? I think we're realizing things, and we're realizing a lot of differences between now and the 20s, and we're all older and wiser and harder.
I feel like I've aged in wisdom.
Oh yeah,
much faster in my 30s. Like I've gained so much knowledge, so much healing. It's been a good time overall.
And you can look back and think, idiot.
Life
As
is
you
too
would say,
short.
mug.
Yeah. Idiot.
So today we've seen some advice from women in their 30 pluses to women in their 20s. So we'll go through it, have a see what we think, have a see what we relate to.
Okay.
So let's go. Number one. This is a man one.
Ooh.
He's not going to turn around one day and realize how amazing you are. If he doesn't want to be with you now, don't waste years hoping he will come around, find what really makes you happy.
Factamundo.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I think I personally actually do believe, this is one saying I believe that is actually true, is when they're like, oh, a man knows within the first month or so of meeting you, whether you're for him or not. 100%. I think a guy knows from the jump if you're for him, but sometimes guys will stay around for longer because they're bored. They have no one else and you're an easy option. You're there. And I think most women are willing to just give.
And also, if he wanted to, he would.
If he wanted to,
yeah,
he would.
I mean, I went through this exact situation where I spent years chasing after somebody who essentially in the bottom line wasn't 100% sure about me. And I think in my 20s that was okay. And I was like, I'll be the one to change him. I'll be the one to make him see that I'm the one. You're always having that perspective where you're trying to prove yourself to somebody for so many years. And really, I don't want to call it wasted time because I hate calling things wasted time. But sometimes when I think back, I'm like, there was just a time where I should have thought earlier, okay, I should probably know my worth and get out of this on many different occasions.
I think we are as women, we are, what's it called? Not hypnotized. What's the word when it's subliminal? No, subliminal messaging. I think we go through a lot of our young teenagehood and childhood watching things that kind of hypnotize us into or subliminally message.
Subliminal messages.
Yeah, that a man is the best thing in the world and we have to be in this relationship and we have to find our Prince Charming and we have to find love and it has to be a fairy tale. And because we spend so much time doing that, we don't work out what we want from life. And I think that's why in our 20s, we'll settle for these men who are just mediocre, in fact, mediocre at best, giving us bare minimum base sack shit because we've been told, oh, but he's a good man, Savannah.
And we're as long as we have him, anything's possible. That's the thing. And it's really crazy. I tell a lot of girls now that I speak to who go through breakups or are not sure they want to be with their man, just do you.
So I was looking at my phone because there's this video I saw and it's this guy, he's I woke up after 5 years. Basically this guy, he's with his girl for 5 years, and in that time when he first meets her, he's broke, no car, no job prospects, nothing. He meets this girl, she's got a car, she's got a good job, she's got her head screwed on, she knows what she wants. They're in a relationship for 5 years, she treats him good. The 5 years goes forward and she supports him, and now he's got a good car, he's got a good job, bought his own house, he's leveled up basically. What does he go and do? He dumps her because a lot of the time a guy is sometimes staying with a woman to bide that time, and because she's not the actual woman you want. So why are you and this is why I always say to my friends, do you want this man? Let's rewind. You went on a date, maybe it was a good date, maybe he was a nice guy, but do you want him? Are you interested? Because if he's not interested, it doesn't matter what you do. And I think we don't learn that.
Yeah, we don't at all. We think we can change. We always think we can be the one to change him and to make him see how great we are.
Which in hindsight is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, it's a nuts thing
You
when you really
can't-
think about it. And also to think about like actually having to convince somebody how great you are. Like now in my 30s, I'm like, why would I even want to do that? Because I wouldn't even want to do that.
Why would you
should
want to
see
convince
how
someone
great
to
I
want to
am.
be here? And I think, and that's why I always also hated that saying like, what do you bring to the table? Bro, I shouldn't need to list out my accolades for you to be interested in me. You should, like, it should be about like me being a good person and me being the person that's like you're interested in. It shouldn't have to be like a list of things. And I think the best kind of man will support you no matter what stage in life you're in. And the same for women, like we will support men for the same type of stage we're in. But like you can support someone, but is he who you want?
Yeah.
Like, is she who you want? Like, why are we trying to change people? Like,
And also, you're not for everybody the same as how everybody's not for you.
And that's okay.
Like, yeah, I agree with that.
That's
I think back
actually
then,
okay.
it was kind of like more hurtful if the person was like, nah. But
I
now
would rather,
it's like,
I'd rather go on a first date with someone and after them be like, oh, I'm not going to waste your time. Like, I just don't think we're a right match. Cool. Bye.
yeah, I agree. I think now I'm at peace with that as well. Like,
100.
even like long relationships or exes, whatever, like at the end of it, I'm like, cool, we had a good run, but like, I wasn't for you, you wasn't for me. And like, let's go our separate ways, like all good.
But I think it's because you know your worth now.
Yeah, 100%.
When you don't know your
Self-worth,
worth,
baby.
you're going to beg for scraps.
Yeah. The scraps. The breadcrumbs.
You're gonna beg for breadcrumbs when in actuality a man who really wants to be with you, if he's gonna buy you the flowers, he's gonna buy you the donuts, he's gonna buy you whatever it is that you want, he's gonna, even if he can't, I've seen men who cannot afford it. I'm just saying that because you prefer donuts to flowers, you know what I mean? But I've seen men who cannot afford it grind, work extra jobs and do all this shit for a woman that they want. Like, I know some guy who, when he was getting married, he had a good job and everything, but he wanted to spend a specific amount on the ring, and he knew that with the job that he had, I think he was on like 60k 70k, so he wasn't like a bum or anything. Had a really good job, he's worked really hard, but the money he was making, he couldn't afford the ring he wanted. He got a second job. He was working in Uniqlo on the weekends.
That's crazy.
To pay for this girl's ring because she was the woman that he wanted, and that he wanted her to have a certain type of ring.
The bottom line is,
If he wanted to, he would.
And let's drop the mic there. Right, on to the next. It doesn't get easier, but you will get stronger. Amen.
Preaching.
Can I get it? Amen.
Amen. No, facts.
Yeah.
In all walks of life. It's not just relationships.
And you don't think about it. People used to say to me like, oh, you're the strongest person I know. And I'm like, huh? But then actually when you turn around, you're like, all the things that I've been through, I've got through.
I've been through some
as
shit.
has everybody. But like, you don't know.
But I think the first time you go through something, it feels like the end of the world.
Yeah.
Like maybe a breakup, for instance. Like you go through that, it feels like the end of the world. Then you go through another breakup and you're like, no, then you get through the other side of that breakup and you're like, oh, but I'm good. And then you realize and then after that, nothing stings the same.
I mean,
Really?
it does.
When?
Yeah, I've had breakups after like a breakup that have been bad. But like,
So would you say your most recent breakup stung more than your previous breakups?
like, yeah. But I think in a different way. I think like they all were bad in their own ways. And I guess I thought I couldn't get over any of them at the time. And then you do.
See, the thing is, I think for me, after I had my first real breakup, I realized like even if I meet someone else and I'm in love and like it hurts, I know that I can get through it. So that has completely changed my mentality of like, although I know it's gonna hurt, I know that I can get back to a place of happiness because I've done it before.
See, I only feel like I think like that now. Like now I'm like, oh, I can get through anything.
Yeah.
But like before that, I was like,
Yeah, no, after my first
don't
breakup,
know.
because you know what I remember, and I never forget this conversation I had with my ex-boyfriend, and we were together for like 5 years. This is the one that was like a compulsive liar and cheater. When we broke up, I remember maybe like 6 months later, like he called me, was like trying to do the whole, you know, we should like be together, blah, 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 we're meant for each other, whatever. And I was like, the problem is the problem is that you let me get over you, and you let me realize that life can go on.
yeah.
And because you let me realize that, now I've realized I don't need you. And because of
too late.
yeah, and because of that, we were not getting back together.
Yeah.
And if he had hit me like maybe 3 months before when I was still crying, maybe I would have been like, oh, maybe, I don't know. But because I got to a point of like happiness again, I was like, oh wow, like I actually don't need him. I'm actually better off.
As R. Kelly said, when a woman's fed up, there ain't nothing you could do
I
about
didn't know
it.
we were doing our Kelly quotes
It's-
anymore.
Well, I know, but you know, he's still good music artist, sorry.
Yeah. facts.
Yeah, when a woman's fed up, you're
She's
done.
done.
When she's
She's
done,
done.
she's done. And that is
Yeah.
it. And you're stronger.
And I think also it's because like this is not really a gender thing, but like I think if you have emotionally checked out of a relationship, there's kind of no going back. I think like once you can go for a relationship for like 4 or 5 years and be invested, and then on year 4 you hit cool, I'm checked out, and your partner then can try, but you've been asking for 4 years. It's hard to get back after that. I don't see how you'd even get back.
But I think the point of like it doesn't get easier is right, because even like you said with breakups, like I don't think they get easier necessarily.
I don't think they get easier, but I think you learn how to cope more,
and you learn that life goes on.
And also I think your emotional intelligence gets better as you get older.
Yeah.
So like, whereas before maybe I would have been like calling them crying and like, oh, give me back,
please.
Do you think now you could have never catch me now?
You never know.
You could never catch me now. I'd rather dash my phone in the River Thames.
Not in the Thames.
I've got too much pride now to like if my partner now said to me, cool, I actually think that we're for each other. We've had a good run, but this is not a relationship for me. Would I cry? 100%. But I'd cry without him knowing. I'd literally be like, cool, bet, no drama, have a nice life, block, go home, call you, cry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like get on a plane to Bali, cry. He'd never know that I was broken. If he saw me on the street, I'd act as if I was like cool as a cucumber. Whereas if it was 10 years ago, I'd be crying in his lap.
Yeah, begging.
Double,
triple, quadruple
you could
texting.
Never catch me begging now. Never.
Yeah, I think that comes with the 30s self-worth though, because you do have a lot more like believing in your source.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, you're not done meeting all the people that will matter in your life. I love this because I literally had this conversation with our good friend the other day. Our gal Leash.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was saying that, like, I think, and I spoke to my therapist about this, definitely after getting through my breakup, because I was like, when you're with somebody for so long, you're kind of like, life's done, but you're in your 30s, and my therapist is like, you haven't even gone through, and I saw this something the other day on TikTok that basically said, you haven't even gone through, we've only gone through what, say like less than 15 years of our lives, like making our own decisions, maybe like 10 years even, because like you're still in your 20s living at home, whatever, like only like 10 years of our life we've made our own decisions and done our own things, and we have way more of that ahead than like the childhood life. So actually this is what I find, I get like comfort and peace in this, that like there's still so many people to come in and love you and like you and be friends with you and be cute with you. So I'm like, it's great, 8 billion people in the world.
That's a really good point.
The world is our oyster.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've got anything to touch on that, because that was really good. You fucking wrapped it up, didn't you?
Oh, okay. I also feel like you can meet someone, you never know, somebody that you might meet tomorrow might matter so much to you, which is also a nice, like, comforting thought. Like, you never think that a person that you randomly meet, like friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is gonna like mean the world to you, somebody who you didn't know.
Well, if you think about it, like we only met like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And like our like the whole like trajectory of our lives has potentially changed because we became friends.
That's true.
Because like we've done so much together, we've started businesses, we've like traveled so much. I don't think I would have done some of the things I've done now if we hadn't met, and that was only a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So like imagine like another 5 years of friendship with us, or imagine who you might meet in the next 5 years. Like when I met you, you had literally just like were on the path of your breakup. I was like a couple of years deep into my breakup, and like that intertwined so much because we were learning so much at the same time, like, and we were changing and healing so much at the same time. And I think imagine in 5 years from now, you'll have your partner, I'll have my partner, you don't even know where we'll be. Like we could have a kid or something.
We could have a kid.
Like, my kids, your kids, my kid, I don't know.
Yeah, it is nuts, but it's a very comforting, nice feeling that there's still somebody in the world who like people in the world.
No, but it's true. You're single, so like your person, like romantically,
I love that,
is still there, still like looking for
you.
Hey
boo, where are you? Where are you, Pookie?
She's getting tired, so like speed it up.
No, it's fine. I'm not in a rush.
Fair.
I'm like, Pookie. Okay, when someone shows you who you are, believe them.
Oh, I can't. This one is so important, because I feel like so many times in the past, friends and relationships, people have shown me who they are and I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Like I think we gloss over it. Yeah, we gloss over it. We want to believe that they're the best person, but like in actuality, like they're not.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes if you just sit back, like how many people, like if I just stopped texting years ago, may not have stayed so long in my life. They wouldn't have made the effort. And like, I know with some friends, like as you get older, you'll realize like there are some people who your friendships are going to change, and like you're going to have to meet them where they are, they're going to have to meet you where you are, etc., etc. Your lifestyles are different, but there are some people that if you stop texting tomorrow, you wouldn't hear from.
Yeah, it's true. I kind of think about this when it comes to dating a lot as well, of like the whole actions over words thing, because I think about that a lot. Like, I'm like, somebody will do something, and if it's a man who's like, you know, those guys that are like, oh, I was gonna take you here, or I was gonna get you flowers, and like back in the day,
is a bag of nothing.
Back in my 20s, I really would have held on to that. I was like, oh, but he was gonna like bring me flowers. Yeah, but now I'm like, if you didn't actually do something, don't say it, don't mention it. And like, I'm believing the person you are for who you are standing right there.
I'm also very strong on that. Like, if you say we're gonna go on, because like, if someone says to me, oh, do you want to come here, and I say yes, that means I'm going. Something about us that's like, we are very much like, once we say we're going, like the trip makes out the group chat always.
Even if we don't want to.
Like,
because
exactly.
we've said it, we're like, we have to do this now.
Yeah. Whereas like some of my friends, I'd be like, oh, let's go to Morocco. Crickets. Like, yeah, let's go. But we have nothing's booked, nothing's planned. And that's because like some people ain't gonna make it out the group chat.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, especially with dating, don't bring me nothing if you ain't trying to do it.
No.
Because I was gonna buy you trainers.
I hate that.
I've got no shoes on my feet.
I'm bare feet, man.
I'm barefoot, so let's not even say it.
Yeah,
you know?
I hate that. And also, it's what we said in the beginning about like, you really do want to see the best in people, definitely your friends. And sometimes it's hard because you're like, oh no, but like this person who loves me, or this person who's my friend, or this person who's my man, like they would never do that to me, but really they are. Okay, I'm also not saying that you need to cut people off, because I think like people do deserve chances. So people, like, you know, no one's perfect, everybody makes mistakes. So maybe
how many
don't.
chances?
Well, how long's a piece of string? How many chances you've given people in the past?
Too many.
Me too.
Way too many. Mug.
You idiot. Okay, let's move on. Don't ever let that one person who broke you define how you live the rest of your life. Man, that one cuts deep. Yeah, that one cuts deep. I mean, yeah, because if I'd done that, I would be a shell of my former self.
The thing is, I think like, when you go through like a major breakup, I think you go through like the stages of grief and like the stages of changing. And I think like one stage of that is that definition part. It's, I don't like men, or I don't like women, and I don't like this and I don't like that. And you're very much in a like negative headspace. And I do sometimes think you need to get through that. You do need to have that headspace to get to the place of healing and being better and being a better person. However, the problem is a lot of people get stuck there. And I think the problem is that it's okay to have that time in your life when you're like, men are shit and they do this and they do that. But once you're in that mind frame, all you will attract is that negativity. You will only attract men who are that kind of person and are doing that kind of thing, because that's all you are right now. So you have to kind of break free. So like the whole like not letting it define you, I think people get stuck in that definition part.
Have you ever seen that thing that's like, you get 3 great loves in your life?
I don't believe that.
I do. Really? I really do. Yeah, because I feel like it's so pivotal for my life. One is like your first love, who's like young love, you know, like it's love, but like it's like, you know, little kiddie, like not kiddie, but like whatever it means to you then. Then you get like the real love, the real heartbreak, like the, you know, love of your life type of vibe. Is very intense, sometimes toxic, whatever breaks down. And then the third one is like the peace. That's your like
really
person. Yeah. And I've got 2 out of 3, so pooky. Yeah,
because it's interesting that you say that. Yeah, because something that people have constantly said to me since I've been in this relationship I'm in now is that I seem very peaceful. Like one of my friends said to me, I feel like with this relationship, which is very different to like your previous relationships, is that you don't really seem to like come and be like, oh my God, he did this, or oh my God, that. She was like, you just seem happy, at your peace, and like you two are just having your relationship and you're good.
I think it's also because you set the layers.
And
like,
I feel
like from the beginning, if there'd have been drama, that's when you get the relationship that's like, oh my God, he done this, and everything's blurred lines and whatever.
Exactly.
But I feel like you never had that.
We didn't have any drama. Even when people tried to bring their pitchforks, we were just like, nope. Like, we were just like, no, we're not doing that. Like, this relationship is very transparent. We're very honest with each other. And like, so far, like, God willing, it will stay smooth sailing. Like, it has actually been peaceful. So if that is true, this whole great love thing, well, that means my days are numbered.
Have you had your 2?
I definitely had an intense toxic one, yeah.
And the first love?
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, when I was young.
Okay.
So maybe this is my piece.
Yeah.
Lock me up and throw away the key.
No. Yeah. So yeah, the people breaking you, defining you,
No.
don't let them define you.
No.
Yeah, you can really stay in a place, I think, sometimes of being sad. It's so easy. And I think even years after, like we spoke about the grief, like sometimes you can miss a person or want to tell them something or whatever it is. But like, yeah, I think also like some people go through bad relationships where like someone's actually put them down. They're like, no, you're this, and they start believing that.
I
which
had
is
that.
even harder.
So like my first like long-term relationship, we were like together for like 5-6 years. I want to say he was like my first real love, like my first proper relationship. And I left that relationship, and I used to like, do you know one thing that used to really stuck with me? I remember one day he was just like, you're the most boring person in the world, like, yeah. And I remember like after that relationship, like I thought I was like a really boring person. But when I started going on dates again, I used to like write a list on my phone of things to say, because I was like, I'm so boring.
Oh my God,
that this person won't
That's
want
so
me.
cute.
Yeah, actually, it was a bit sad actually. But like, I genuinely did think that about myself, and it did stay with me for a long time. And then I think I got to a point where I was like, hold on,
Stop
like
the tears.
don't make me.
Oh, no, I'm like,
It's because I'm on my period, so it's like it makes me a bit emotional. But like, I remember like when I got to a point and I was just like, why am I still allowing like this thought that someone else said about me, like to like make me feel like I am this person? And I remember like I went on these dates and I was like, hold on, like I'm going on these dates and people love me, like I think I'm great. And like I used to work in an office at the time, and I was like, I'm always a popular person in the office. I go on dates and I'm like so bubbly, so characteristic. I've never ever had anybody else be like, you're dry. So like, why am I letting this one person who like was awful to me, cheated on me, treated me like shit, define who I am?
It's someone else's insecurity. A lot of the time.
But you have to come to that realization on your own at some point, you know? It doesn't just go away.
But I think that's also another difference in your 30s. Like you believe in your source a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, 100%.
So somebody can say like you're boring or you're this or you're that, and you're like,
I think I'd laugh now.
Whatever.
I'd be like, do you know what my job is?
Yeah.
I travel the fucking world for a living.
Or also like, I'm just not for you. If you don't think I'm pretty, if you don't think I'm funny, if you don't think I'm fun, like jog on.
Yeah.
Jog on, mate.
Most of the time, there are 4 at best.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God.
You're a 4 at best.
You're a 6 at best. Exactly. Gal, like, I don't know her name, but, you know, she really changed my life that day. Okay, sometimes you work really hard for something just to realize it's not what you wanted. It's okay to let it go and start over.
No, facts, because
definitely relationship.
But not even just relationship, like career.
Yeah, that's
I went to university, got a whole first class degree in interior design. Do I do a lick of interior design now? No.
If you'd like an interior design job, I have one for you.
But no, I don't do anything like with that. And I worked in the industry, and at first I enjoyed it, but like as time went by, I realized like working for someone else, fucking crazy. I'd see like contracts come through and they would be like 40-50 grand, and I was thinking, I'm not even making like 2% of that. Like it just felt like shit. And also like it was like slavery. Like I was working sometimes, like I'll come in the office at like 9 and I'd leave at like 2 a.m, come back the next day 9 again, do it again, back to back, weeks, months. And my employer didn't even say thank you. I think for my thank you, for 6 months, they gave me 1 extra day of annual leave. One day of annual leave.
I think people are also scared. Like when you've done all that and you've got your degree and you know everything and you've got and you paid money for it. I think people like that are in their career set. They're scared to be like, I just want to change everything. And it's hard because you're on a certain level of income, you're comfortable, whatever. You don't want to turn around and be like, right, I want to do something completely sideways and be on 20 grand a year. It's difficult to do that. But I actually think it's like, it's not too late.
It's so worth it.
Like it's actually never too late.
I remember when I was working in interior design, there was a guy in my office. He must have been about 45. When he was 30, he went back to uni and got another degree to come and do what I was doing, because he hated his job prior. And so like you can start again and like be good at something and enjoy something and do something else. But like if you're going to spend majority of your life working at something, make it something you love.
Yeah. And this also relates to like relationships, because for me, I spent so long, you know, when you go through that breakup with your partner, we went through that. And I think like, I didn't realize that the whole time I was just doing it because we'd been together for so long. It made sense, like that kind of thing. And when I actually sat there and I thought, I don't think I even want this anymore. I felt like I was doing myself a disservice by like tapping out.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I'm giving up and I was just embarrassed to like let it go and fail.
Yeah.
Which is
fair.
crazy.
Which is fair.
But then I'm like, actually, like, I can start, and you don't know what starting over looks like, so that's
Yeah.
also scary. But I'm like, wait, like I can start over.
Yeah,
like,
I think
why
that's,
not?
I think it's the starting over that's scary,
So
especially
scary.
when you're in a phase of life where like your relationship went in like quite into adulthood. Like my long-term relationships didn't they hit into like my early to like mid-20s. So I had like most of like proper adulthood of 20s single, whereas you had that stage in a relationship. So you were doing things like buying a house, thinking about kids, thinking about like serious stuff. And I think because of that, it really changes what your everyday life is, because at that point your everyday life was living at home with your partner. So so like you were like in a quite serious stage of that, to then go to, okay, cool, I'm alone, living alone. Where am I going to live? Am I going to stay in this house? Am I going to sell my house? Am I going to buy a new house? Like those are very big, serious questions. So then to have to think about all of that, that's very scary.
And also redoing your life at 29, 30. You're like, can I even restart at 30? At 30, you think, in your 20s, you think 30 is like the end of the road. So you're like, how can I restart my whole life at 30?
Well, like, for instance, we have a friend who like, they were in a relationship for most of their 20s and now they're single. And I feel like for her, it's like she didn't even really get to experience like dating or like doing all of those things that you do in your early 20s, because she was in a relationship at that point. And I think it's crazy for her. It must feel crazy now to go into your 30s and have to like, do all those things. But then she's now shining. And, she's now enjoying that period of her life. So like, it's not, I just think sometimes we have to remind ourselves that one door closes, another door opens.
It's also scary to step off the edge when you can't see.
But once you get through, once you're through that door,
Yeah.
once you've like taken that leap, that jump, life could be better than ever. Like, and I think I saw something before, and it was like a lot of times people walk into things and they're like, oh, but like, what if this had happened, or what if I had stayed? And they're like, but what if you had left and it had got better?
Yeah.
So like, try to see it as whatever's next is better than what it would have been.
That brings me on to the next one.
Ooh.
You're always going to be better off, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. Yeah.
It's true. It's 100%.
You don't think it at the time, ever, really and truly.
But it's like, if you, let's say for instance, you were in a relationship with someone who cheated, which we've both been in. If we had stayed, we probably just would have stayed in a relationship that was cheating, and we would have stayed unhappy in those relationships because it would have continued. I think if you're in a relationship with someone who cheats, I just don't see them stopping. If you stay, I just don't see them stopping. I don't know any examples of where they have.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Don't ever let anyone tell you more than once that they don't want you. Never beg for anything. If
100.
the person wanted to, they would. I mean, we already talked about this, but yeah, facts. And what's the thing? It's like, don't let anybody tell you they don't want you twice or something. Like,
don't ever let someone tell you they don't want you more than once.
Yeah, and this even happens in like talking stages, because I give people a chance, and then when it comes to like the second chance, like they do something, I'm like, cool, okay, you get another chance, and then the second chance, if you mess that up,
see, you're good.
Bin.
Because when I first was dating before, I wasn't given second chances.
Really?
I remember there was a guy who I was talking to. We were talking whatever, back and forth. And then like one day we're like, oh, let's go out next week. We hadn't set a date or anything. And then I didn't hear from him. And then I think I was the last person to message previously. Like the conversation had kind of left on a hang. So I said, cool, I'm not going to message you. 2 months go by. He texted me. And he was like, hey, stranger. I edit. He says to me again, hey, just wanted to see if like you wanted to get a drink maybe next week, like get some dinner or something. It would be nice to like catch up. So then I said,
catch up about what?
About
what?
Yeah, for what? For what? Edit. Then the next week he messaged me. No, the next day he messaged me again, and then I messaged him back and I said, look, the way that you approached this whole situation was off.
Yeah.
You ghosted. Cool, but don't expect to just come back and be like, hey, stranger. I was like, I don't like that. I'm not interested. The ship sailed. So good luck in your life, but bye.
But if he'd have come back and said, look, hey, I'm really sorry. Whatever was going on, would you have given potentially, I would really love to take you out. I think
if he had acknowledged the situation, then potentially I would have gone from the back.
That's what I mean. I would give a second chance to like that kind of scenario. But
fair.
If after that you don't perform,
bin. But I also think like dating is basically one long interview. Like whether you're dating one person or two people, you're basically on one long interview until you decide to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
So like there's no time to fuck up. We can't be, if we're fucking up in the interview stage, you don't get the job.
You out.
You don't get the job. You're fired.
Legit.
I just don't see, like, if you're dating someone, like realistically, dating stages should not last, in my personal opinion, more than 6 months. In 6 months, you know for sure if you want a relationship with this person. So if you can't keep it together for 4 to 6 months, it's not gonna happen.
No.
It's not gonna be good.
No.
Like, it's really not.
Yeah, it's not great.
So
Okay, number 9. A what if thought centers around fear and helplessness. Next time you get a what if thought, switch it to even if. Even if this happens, I will figure it out and get through it. So instead of saying, next time you get a what if thought, so say you like mess something up and you're what if I just did this instead?
Yeah.
You say even if. So like say you got fired from your job, and you did something that week, so you know that you messed it up. You're like, oh, what if I didn't like chill at home and watch Love is Blind all day that day? I would have still had the job. But you say, even if I watched Love is Blind the whole day,
I'm still getting it fired. I think it's what if I get fired? Then it's going to be the end of then this is the end of my career. And you said, even if I get fired, it's not the end of my career.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, that one's kind of confusing.
What if thought centers? So what if centers around fear and helplessness? I think, okay, I can relate this a little bit because like when I broke up with my ex, I was a lot like, what if I'd done this? What if I'd done that? What if I'd, you know what I mean? All that stuff. But then I think it's turning it to like, even if I'd
done those things, you still would have broken up.
Exactly. Even if I'd I don't want to say what I don't want to say what I was going to say because it's a bit X-rated. But
cut that shit out.
Yeah, like, even if I'd like cooked for him every day, clean the house every day, been the best girlfriend in the world, you still probably would have got to that end. The same with like your job. Like I do think some things are kind of just set. Like some things are just not for you.
With a breakup, you could say what if. Yeah. But when someone's cheating, I don't think you can say that. So let's just say you and your partner are together for 10 years and you break up because you're like, okay, cool, neither of you are putting in any effort anymore, so it's time to call it a day. In that situation, you could have fixed it. One of your actions could have fixed it. You could have worked on it. Yeah, because
don't you think things are just in a timeline of life?
No. I think it's like Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're gonna get. Like you don't know what path you're gonna be on. You could pick this one up and it could be fine, or you could keep eating the same chocolate and it could work out differently. Like I think if someone cheats, then it's not in your hands. So like let's just say my boyfriend cheats on me. It's not in my hands to fix that. Yeah. Nothing I could have done would have fixed that because he's a cheater.
Yeah, but I think as a woman in your 20s, like for me, even if your man cheated, wouldn't you think like, oh, what if I'd done this?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the wrong way to think about 100%. It. I think there's certain ways where you could think. So like I said, if your relationship just fizzles out, then yeah, maybe there is an even if. Even if maybe there is a what if I cooked more or done more or tried harder or had more conversations, we could have stayed together. Because essentially you got together, you could have stayed together. But if someone there's an action which causes the breakup, then I think it's even if.
Yeah.
You know, because like even if I had cooked him dinner, he cheated, so we wouldn't have stayed together.
Yeah, and you're not basing it out like fear.
It can't be about you
and helplessness.
And I think this is one thing that I think women do too much is that when someone cheats, well, their partner cheats, whether it be a male or a female, we blame ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
and then you compare yourself to that person at that situation.
Exactly.
Like, her bum's bigger than mine. Her this is bigger than mine. Her this, whatever. Like, it's crazy.
When I personally think, I can't speak for all men because I don't know them, but I think a lot of the time, if a woman cheats on a man, he ain't saying what did I do wrong. He's saying you out.
100%.
He's saying get out.
Yeah.
Busted. It's 4 damn o'clock in the morning. Where you been? Like,
yeah.
Whereas we're just like, oh well, it would if I had done this, or if I hadn't had that argument, if I hadn't said this, we'd be together.
That's
you
tough.
know. I think we blame ourselves way too much.
Yeah, I've done that so much. Oh my god. Now I think back, I'm like, that's crazy because 95% of things were not my fault and out of my hands, and it would have happened anyway.
I think the only time in those situations when the victim essentially should take some responsibility is when you keep going back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've been with you for 2 years. You cheated. I stayed. You cheat again. I stayed. You cheat again. Okay? By the third time, it's your own problem because you've stayed this long. You should have walked away at 1. You should have walked away at 2. You really let it get to 3. That's crazy. Guess who did that? Mug.
Me too. Yeah.
Muggy mug over here.
Okay, and then the last one, letting go feels better than trying to control things.
100%.
I feel like I used to try and control so many things, from just like work stuff to friendships. Like once you actually do let things go, it's a lot more peaceful.
I think it's much more peaceful, and I think also like just learning what is within your control. Like control what you can and leave the rest.
Yeah.
You know, like I can control if I'm on time for the podcast session. But can I control the trains? I cannot.
Yeah, and also just don't back that up with irrational thoughts, because I think that's the thing I used to do a lot until I started realizing, and then I'm like, okay, hold on, I'm having this thought, is this even rational? No, cool, let it go.
I do that now. After I listened to that podcast with Mo Gadat. He talks about like happiness and stuff like that, and he talks about like rationalizing your thinking.
I got this from the therapist.
Interesting. And he was basically just saying like sometimes you'll so like, let's just say my boyfriend doesn't answer the phone. Sorry to bring it always back to cheating, guys, but it's just an easy one. But like, my boyfriend doesn't answer the phone. Old me would have been like, cool, he's cheating, he's this, he's that, and I'd come with all these irrational things. New me is like, he's not answered the phone. Okay. I'm not going to add anything. I'm not going to add on irrational fears to that to drive myself to the point of insanity
that you're with, because I used to be like that as well, but it's because like there's a reason for that,
which is past trauma. But like I've done that in the past with people who didn't deserve it as well, because I had got that trauma from my first really bad relationship. So then I knew, so after that, like now I would probably, if I hadn't worked on myself, I probably would have continued that behavior, like thinking, oh, he's done this, he's doing that, should I ask him what he's in? And I was in a place of like, I couldn't even have a proper conversation with and talk about what I wanted from a relationship, because I was so worried about all the things that like I couldn't talk about because I was scared that he was cheating or he was going to do this or he's going to do that. So it's not good, man.
It's not good.
It's not good.
So the cause of all our hurt and harm is men.
In our 20s, we really got put through the ringer.
Yeah.
We did.
You do have to go through it, but like sometimes I feel like I kind of want to get someone on here who's like never had anything, because I know people who have been in relationships like since school. So I feel like they've been with like the same person, they've not had any drama. Like
all the people that I knew that did that are now not with those people. Yeah,
I mean, it would be nice to actually get a perspective as somebody who's just been like flowing through a lovely relationship for the past 10 years. But I mean, it's like, people don't say a lot as well, which like is fine, but
this is the thing as well, like you never know what's actually happening behind closed doors, like relationships. Like I have a friend who like I thought they were like the best relationship ever, and then when they broke up like fairly recently, and I was just like, what happened? And she was just like, yeah, like it's been bad for years.
That's crazy.
But like she never mentioned it. She never mentioned it. So like how would you know? Like you just think people are in these happy relationships. And I think there's a lot of like, it's a hard one, because like, do I want to tell my friends everything about my relationship and risk them not liking the person, or do I want to be on my own and not be able to talk to someone about it? Because it's very hard to navigate that,
I think in previous relationships I've definitely done that, where I've just like stopped saying things because he was already in the bad books, and I was like, I can't make this worse, man.
Really?
Yeah, because I knew, like, obviously your friends are not going to like certain things that they do when they're doing bad stuff. So
I think like, also in our 20s, we are probably more judgmental about that kind of stuff. Because I feel like now if something happened, I feel like with most of my friends, I could sit down and have a conversation without the fear of them judging him, because they know like it's not black and white.
Yeah.
Like they know that like they're not going to tell me, oh, well, you need to leave that man behind, because they're like, well, let's unpack this. Is there something else? Like, what can we do? There's the only thing I feel like I can tell my friends now that's really bad, and they'd be like, you need to get out, is cheating. I think everything else, like, they'd be like, well, can you work through this,
Yeah.
Well,
we breezed through this.
That was fast, man.
Gosh.
That was fast. Well, that's really what we've got time for tonight in the suite.
I know. That was really quick epi.
Yeah, but we'll see you next week, I guess.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.